Have you ever wondered why the perfect guy, the one who's kind, successful, and handsome, still ends up alone? I'm about to show you the answer, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Yesterday, I was sitting in a coffee shop and I saw something that perfectly explains why 99% of men will spend their entire lives invisible to the women they want. I watched a man, maybe mid-20s, impeccably dressed, giving his absolute all to the woman across from him. For 37 excruciating minutes, I watched him try every right move. And here's the most unsettling truth. He genuinely believed he was doing everything perfectly. That man in that moment was you. He was every man who operates on a deeply flawed script, a hidden program running in the background of your mind that has been rigged for you to lose. Today on Psyche, we're going to expose that code and show you how to finally rewrite it. But let's be clear. This path takes real guts. Every man believes his situation is different, that his good intentions or nice clothes are enough to change the math. They aren't. If your mindset is fundamentally broken, everything else you do is irrelevant. It's like trying to launch a spaceship using a children's toy remote. No matter how sincere your effort, the wrong tool guarantees failure. So let me ask you, how many times has an incredible conversation suddenly led to a woman ghosting you? How often have you played the ideal man role only to watch her choose the guy who barely even tried? This isn't bad luck. It's not destiny. It's a brutal combination of mathematics and psychological warfare. You're playing a game without having read the rule book. I remember my own turning point at age 20. I was at a party, polished, polite, and totally ignored. A ghost in my own best shirt. Then there was Alex. Alex was broke, dressed terribly, and wasn't good looking by any measure. Yet 3 different women were actively fighting for his attention while I stood there bewildered. That night I witnessed a truth that took years to truly digest. Women aren't drawn to your resume. They're not impressed by desperate attempts to win their approval. In fact, the more you want their approval, the less they want you. It's a painful reverse logic. The harder you try, the faster you fail. I know that sounds completely illogical. And that's precisely why most men are stuck. You are trying to logically solve what is, at its core, an emotional problem. Your brain's default software was installed by well-meaning people. Be nice, respect the ladies, happy wife, happy life. None of that creates attraction. You've been trained to be what women secretly do not want, a relentlessly loyal golden retriever. What they actually crave is a wolf. Not a cruel man, but an independent one, autonomous, unpredictable, and entirely his own. The key to understanding this is polarity points. Every interaction you have with a woman is a series of small choices where you either raise or lower the emotional tension. Most men are terrified of tension. She seems restless. You crack a joke to smooth things over. She challenges you. You immediately submit. You are too busy trying to win her approval to realize that comfort is the absolute enemy of desire. Think about it. When was the last time you were captivated by a predictable movie with zero conflict? Never. Humans, and women especially, are hardwired for emotional stimulation. They crave the push and pull, the challenge, and the ambiguity. But your behavior is a flat, predictable instruction manual. Chapter 1. I like you. Chapter 2. I will do anything for you. And the conclusion is always the same. Boring. Now understand me. I am not telling you to be a jerk. Stupid men confuse excitement with cruelty. Women do not like bad men. They like men who are profoundly independent. Men who own their reality and don't instantly collapse just because a beautiful face appears in front of them. The bad boy often possesses these qualities simply because he doesn't care about anything. But you can cultivate that same unshakable self-possession without losing your decency. That is the perfect combination. Here's a practical example. You match with a stunning woman online. Your immediate instinct is to write a clever, witty message to prove your uniqueness. You have already lost. Why? Because your entire approach depends on her reaction. You're not expressing yourself. You're performing. You're not speaking, you're auditioning. And she smells it like a shark smells blood. So what do? You write what genuinely entertains you. You act as if this is just one of many options and that your own self-amusement is the highest priority. That energy, that deep sense of groundedness is the only thing that breaks through the noise. It makes her stop and pay attention. This is where the majority fail. Even when they grasp the idea, they try to fake it. They pretend not to care while being desperately needy inside. They feel beta but try to act alpha. Listen closely. Women have been observing male behavior since they were teenagers. Their emotional radar is sharper than any lie detector. You cannot fake this. You must become it. 3 years ago, I was talking to a woman, the kind who makes you want to reorganize your entire life. Everything was flowing until she said something I profoundly disagreed with. The old me would have just nodded and smiled to keep the peace. But that time I looked her in the eye and said, "That is honestly the most ridiculous thing I've heard all week." She was shocked. Then she laughed, and then she leaned in, completely intrigued. Why? Because every other man had treated her like a goddess on a pedestal. I was the first one to treat her like a normal human being whose opinion could actually be wrong. When you elevate a woman too high, you force her to look down on you. It is simple physics. She cannot respect someone who worships her, because worship creates an inherent inequality. Women cannot feel attraction without challenge. Here is the biggest mistake men make. They think attraction is an addition problem. Add more compliments. Add more dates. Add more attention. Wrong. Attraction is a subtraction problem. Subtract your constant presence. Subtract your need for instant replies. The space you create is where desire begins. The empty space is what pulls her in. Think about your phone right now. If someone is always instantly available, always saying yes, how valuable are their messages? Not at all. What is always accessible is by definition worthless. You flooded the market with yourself and killed the scarcity. But when someone replies sometimes, is busy other times, and shows interest one moment and withdraws the next, suddenly you're staring at your phone, wondering what they're doing. That is the position you need to be in, not the other way around. Now here is the harsh reality for most men watching this. You will agree with every word I've said. You'll take notes. But when you wake up tomorrow, your old programming will seize control. The nice guy protocol will reactivate. You will do what you have always done, because changing this requires more than intellectual understanding. It requires practice, failure, and a complete reconditioning. I went through this myself. I failed beautifully with this new approach. I overcorrected, going from too nice to overly confrontational. It took me probably 100 interactions to find the right balance. But here is my discovery. Even my mistakes were more attractive than my old perfect behavior. Even when I was stumbling, women were more interested than when I was being the predictable nice guy. Do you want to know when I finally got it? I was on a date with a truly stunning woman, the kind other men openly stare at. Halfway through the date, I realized I was genuinely bored. She was beautiful but uninteresting. Instead of faking enthusiasm, I looked at her and said, "You're gorgeous, but this conversation is putting me to sleep. I'm going home. Netflix will be more interesting." And I left. Do you know what happened? She called me that night. The next day, this woman who had men chasing her for years was suddenly chasing me, not because I used a trick, but because I genuinely valued my time and attention more than her beauty. That is the real power. It is not about being cruel. It's about having standards that go beyond the purely physical. It's about being truly ready to walk away if those standards aren't met. Most men only have one standard. Is she attractive? That is like buying a car solely on its paint job without checking the engine. You are setting yourself up for disaster. When a woman meets the nice guy, he compliments her, agrees with her, and tries to impress her. Unconsciously, she draws a conclusion. This man is beneath me. He needs me more than I need him. He is safe, and therefore he is forgettable. But the man who understands this is not overly eager. He is friendly, but he teases. He is available sometimes, but often busy. He disapproves when necessary. He is more concerned with entertaining himself than impressing her. Her unconscious mind feels this. He is on my level, or maybe above it. He has options. He is unpredictable. He is unforgettable. This is not about foolish acting. It's about being a man with an undeniable life of his own. Escaping the friend zone and finding your power now. Let's talk about the dreaded friend zone. Men fear it, but they don't understand its origin. Women place men in the friend zone when they feel no romantic respect for them. You earn your place there by acting like a friend when you secretly want to be a lover. You are always available, completely desexualized, and hiding your true desire behind a mask of friendship. Then you act surprised when she feels nothing for you. Listen, if you see a woman in romantic terms, she must know it. Not through a dramatic, desperate confession 3 months later, but through your energy, your actions, and your subtle flirtation from day one. You must be attractive first, then you can be nice. Take the lead. Inject vitality and a subtle sexual charge into the interaction. Use compassion like a spice, not the main dish. Be confident but never arrogant. Be a challenge but not impossible. This is a balance that absolutely can be learned. Here's a simple exercise. The next time you text a woman, pause before you hit send. Ask yourself one question. Am I sending this to get a reaction from her, or am I sending this because it genuinely entertains me? If it's the first one, delete it. If it's the second, send it. That one simple filter will revolutionize your communication. Here's another. Practice polite disagreement. Not about everything and not just to be difficult, but when you genuinely disagree, say it. No, I actually don't think so. I see it differently. Start small. Express what you truly believe instead of mirroring the opinions you think she wants to hear. What will surprise you is that the more politely you disagree, the more intrigued she becomes. Why? Because it shows strength. It shows you don't need her. It shows you see her as an equal human being whose opinion can be wrong, not as a goddess whose words are sacred scripture. I remember a girl telling me she believed in astrology. The old me would have just said, "Oh, that's cool. Tell me more." Instead, I said, "Astrology is just organized birthday racism." She paused, then she burst out laughing, and then she spent the next hour trying to convince me otherwise. We had a real dialogue with real energy, instead of me silently nodding while she talked. That's the difference. But here's the real secret. The piece that changes everything. You must become a man who does not need a woman's approval. Don't act like that man. Become that man. How? By building a life that is genuinely fascinating to you. Have goals that wake you up in the morning. Have hobbies that fulfill you. When your life is truly full, when you are busy with things that matter, you stop trying to play hard to get. You are hard to get. You stop faking confidence. You feel it. Because your life has given you a real reason to be confident. Most men try to recruit women to fill the emptiness in their existence. And women sense this emptiness the way animals sense a coming storm. They know that you are using them as an emotional crutch, as validation devices. That pressure is too heavy, so they run. Your life must be the cake. A woman should be the compliment, the cherry on top, not the entire necessity. If she is your entire cake, what happens when she leaves? You are empty and desperate all over again. Look at the men who are naturally magnetic. They aren't always the richest or the best looking, but almost all of them are men whose lives are full even without women. Women are a part of their world, not the center of it. That is what makes them magnetic. Now let's discuss the moment of truth. Whether in person or online, most men show up with the energy of a job interview. Please choose me. Here are my credentials. Stop showing up like a man begging to be chosen. Show up like a man who is offering an opportunity. I am fascinating, I am entertaining. If you are worthy, I may allow you into my life. Do you see the profound shift? This is not arrogance. It is simply knowing your value. Believing that your time and attention are important. If you don't believe that, why should she? This change in perspective is a total life transformation. Stop thinking about getting women. Start thinking about choosing women. You are not trying to earn the approval of every woman you meet. You are screening for women who meet your standards. When you are the one choosing, rejection doesn't hurt. It's not personal. It's just selection. She chose to opt out. Good. She saved you time. Move on. But when you are chasing, every rejection feels like a personal failure. I spent years trying to persuade women to want me, performing, convincing, exhausting myself. Then I switched to choosing. Is she interesting? Does she fit my lifestyle? Does she add value beyond her looks? Suddenly I had standards. Suddenly I was the prize. Suddenly everything shifted. But here's the part no one tells you. In the beginning, this path is lonely. When you stop seeking approval, you will lose people. The women who fed on your attention will vanish. Your friends who loved your self-sacrifice will be confused. Your family might say you've become selfish. Good. Let them be confused. Because on the other side of this short, lonely season is something far better. Genuine attraction. Real connection with women who choose you for who you are, not for what you do for them. Don't become the man in his 40s or 50s still running the same program from age 15. Still being nice as a strategy, and still wondering why he fails. Make the change now. Yes, it is uncomfortable. Yes, it can be terrifying, but it is far more terrifying to stay the same. It is more terrifying to die with regret. The ideas are simple, but the execution is not easy. It's not easy because you have to reprogram decades of conditioning. Not easy because you have to face rejection. Not easy because you must become someone new, and the world will resist it. But here is my solemn promise to you on Psyche. If you truly do this, if you change your perspective and practice what I've laid out, your entire world will change. Not just with women, but in every area of life. The confidence that comes from no longer needing validation, the strength that comes from having standards, the freedom that comes from being genuine. These things are completely transformative. This is your assignment. But here is the truth. 98% of men will never do it. And 98% will stay exactly where they are. Be the 2%. Practice one single thing. Detach from the result. Approach women without clinging to the outcome. Send messages that carry no need. Go on dates with no urgency. Just practice being present, being genuine, and being completely satisfied with who you are. That is it. That is the missing piece. That is what separates the 2% from everyone else. No magic lines, no tricks. Just the ability to stand as yourself, alone, and let women decide whether they want to join your world instead of you desperately trying to join theirs. This video has probably shattered everything you were taught to believe. Good. It should, because everything you've been taught has brought you to a place you no longer want to be. The question is simple. Will you keep doing what has never worked? Or will you finally try something different? You have a choice, old results or new opportunities, comfort or expansion. You already know which one you will choose. The only remaining question is, when will you stop lying to yourself and finally act? Now you know the truth. You cannot escape it.